Who am I? A question that I had asked myself as long as I can remember. With no family history, no purpose, and being strangers in that small town of 500, I felt even more displaced and misunderstood. I didn't know who I was, who I want to be, or who I can become. An outsider. Until I heard about a kind of people like me. They also felt misunderstood, and they were looking for a purpose, a family, an identity, just like me. A friend at school gave me a cassette tape with music. They sang about pride, their country, and how scared they were that it would be taken away by strangers. How the whole world was against them, and how they have to stick together against their enemies. It's always easy to blame someone else. I finally felt a belonging and a purpose. And the deeper I got into that nationalist movement, the more it shaped my identity. I finally had what I always wanted. Or did I?
The fight is all ending, the struggle is our life. We swear the blood of you, yeah, for victory tonight. We will never give in, we'll fight until then.
If you would have asked me 22 years ago who I am, I would have sat here with a bald head and flight jacket, steel-cap boots, and would have told you my name and told you that I'm a proud warrior of the white race, and me and my friends were gonna save this race. When we went to concerts, we did the Hitler salute and raised our right hand to the sky, you know, and we felt powerful doing that, you know. Also doing that on stage, and you have like 500 people doing the back to you. You would hold that against the government that banned it, because it's not a bad thing. That's what we would have said, you know. But we did it. In my early life, violence played a big role. It didn't hurt you anymore, you know. Then your mother maybe used a wooden spoon. One time the wooden spoon just broke, and I started laughing, you know, and said, I don't care. It doesn't change anything. And that was a time in 2002 when just everything fell together. It had to do with secret services, the police. We had a big rally, and there was a lot of pressure from the government, you know. There was so little left of my ideology that I, number one, didn't want to go to prison for. Didn't want to lose a family, my kids over, you know. And it was just not worth it. And I just decided, hey, I always wanted to be in America since I was a little boy. Now or never.
I'll give her a treat. When I leave, I give her a treat. She's probably the only dog that's happy when you leave. Now I know why she loves me. Why you do that? Yeah, please.
I tell people when he opened the car door, it was like I could hear the choir of angels singing, and I knew that he was the one that I was going to be with. We met online. We talked for a couple of weeks, and we finally met in person and hit it off. My family at first was nervous about TM's past, and they presented us with some, unsavory photos of him that were on Google. But after sitting down and talking to him a couple of times, their fears were subsided. It honestly made no difference to me other than the fact that it shaped the man that he has become, but it wasn't necessarily an important part of him anymore.
Bacon actually turned out pretty good. It's not too overcooked. I thought it would be worse.
I guess since it's steak, it's okay.
Yep. After I left all of that behind, I never ever listened to that stuff again. I said I never realized that I wrote lyrics that were exactly the same did to young kids what that music did to me. Got them deeper into that. And today I try just the opposite. I try to pull out people out of the movement, trying to show compassion, try to talk to them, say, hey, I feel your pain, I know how it is, but there's a way out. Definitely, there's a way out, and I can help. And that's what I try to do.
How I met TM was there was a post on Facebook about getting rid of racist tattoos or gang tattoos. He inboxed me and I met him at 6 Eye Tattoos.
Yeah, so the Erase the Hate was a campaign that TM presented me with that basically if you had a gang-related tattoo and you wanted to cover it up within reason, you could come in and we'd cover it up for free to help younger people get out of the gang life, or show other people that people can change.
He put a cross here that represents the lifestyle that I live now as being a pastor, but he also took a bandana and wrapped it around the top, showing that the lifestyle I have, I hung it on a cross.
How do you forgive? Some people say it takes a long time to forgive, but I say once you forgive, you forgive. And once you have forgiven, then everything is all right. I really believe, I really feel that TM is genuine in his change. TM is also trying to make amends for the way he felt and the way he treated folk before he came into knowledge of his past. And I think that's why he's working so hard now to overcome. That's why he has called his organization Change. And not only is he talking change, but you can see the change in him.
I started Change alone until I met Bishop Sesley of the Morning Star Holiness Church in Memphis. What was so special about him? He didn't know me. I was introduced to him as the former racist, and without questioning a lot, he opened his arms and his heart.
If you needed somebody in the trenches with you, he would be one you would want in the trenches. And I do want you to know that what I said, I really feel that way. Until you prove otherwise, that's the way I feel about you.
My father and my mother divorced when I was just 2 years old, so I don't remember any of that, and he died when I was 8 years old. It was my oldest sister, actually, that raised me, that took me away and wanted me to promise her one thing one day, and she said, whatever happens, just when you grow up, don't be a Nazi. I didn't know what a Nazi was. I was 6 years old when she asked me that question and asked me to promise that. I did promise it, just to break it just 7 years later. My arms are open, my heart is open, but she's not ready, and maybe she will be someday.
Let's have the filmmakers please stand. That was Brianna McFadden, Maddie Gwynn, Dimitri Lazaravahi, Dylan Leslie, and Justin McWilliams. And is TM Garrett here? Did he make it? All right, would you please stand, TM? There he is. Thank you for sharing your story with us and with our students.